Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Aspergers Studios Presents Stories. Today, I'm talking with my good friend Michelle Markham, who is an ASD coach who deals more in relationships. So sit back, relax, and grab your favorite beverage, and let's learn more about her. See you there.
And the mamas start.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Aspergers Studios Presents Stories. Today on the show, I'm joined with my good friend Michelle Markham. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Reid. Always a pleasure.
Well, I always like to ask everyone on the hot seat, so tell me about yourself.
Yeah, I am a late diagnosed autistic. I didn't find out until I was 27. I found out in college. And I'm also a neurodivergent relationship-based coach. So I help people to love and accept themselves, figure out their strengths and support their weaknesses, and really cultivate strong relationships and a life of meaning and purpose.
All right. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Southern California. I'm born and raised. I was born in Los Angeles and spent the first half of my life there and then moved to Orange County where I live now.
All right. So what motivates you, inspires you, and drives you?
What motivates me, inspires, and drives me is my family. I I'm a mother. I have a toddler, and I'm married to a wonderful man, and I'm always motivated and inspired to show up as my best self in order to support and love them and give them everything that I can
All
and to
right.
help other people.
All right. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh, that's a hard one. Um, the best compliment I've ever received. Um, I think probably that I am tenacious and I don't, when I set my mind to something, I will accomplish it. There's nothing that can stop me. And I had someone recognize that in me before. I've had it happen a few times, but the first time it was recognized, I think, was really meaningful to me because I've been told so many times in my life that I can't do things. You know, I was told that I could not go to college. I was told that I could not graduate college. I was told that, I couldn't have the career that I have. And here we are. So,
Well, that kind of reminds me of the story I was once told. I was going through doors at the time, and I had a counselor literally sit down with me and my mom and say, "You won't be able to achieve a 4-year college, only a 2-year." I left with a taste of disgust in my mouth. I looked at my mom, and my mom's like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I'm gonna email her supervisor and just tell her I was appalled." I emailed her supervisor and I got a brand new one because how dare anyone tell us what we can and cannot do? We are human beings first. We have feelings just like everybody else. We just think and operate differently than everyone.
exactly. And I personally believe that setting limitations for people is problematic because when you set a limitation, you're telling this person that they are only capable of reaching that limitation and then they're blocked. And that is not true. It's hard to say what someone's capability is. And I think there may be a certain amount of prejudice that goes into it for certain people or liability if we're talking about clinicians that they don't want to give um, a stronger prognosis or better outcomes or whatever because they don't want to be sued. But I really think that it's a big problem to tell people what they can and cannot do, and to tell autistic people what they can and cannot do, um, because it's not there's no basis in anything. Like you and I can both say we were both told we were not going to be able to go to four-year colleges. Um, we were both told we would have to go to trade school and that would be it for us. And that's not what we've done. So I think it's important for people to understand that, you know, autism, Asperger's, all of that, it's a spectrum, first of all. And second of all, it's a neurodevelopmental condition. So we hit milestones, but we hit them at different times than other people. So just because we aren't falling on that standard timeline of, you know, going to college at 18 and graduating at 21 doesn't mean that we won't be able to do it at some point in our lives. So maybe just kind of throwing the timeline out the window would be helpful, and just allowing us to grow and blossom and reach our milestones and our goals in our own time.
All right. What is your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that experience?
Oh gosh, my biggest failure. Um, that is a tricky question. I have had so many failures. I think when we see successful people, we think, oh, well, it's easy for that person. They've got it figured out. They're a success. But the reality is that everybody who's become successful at anything has failed hundreds of times, at least at that specific thing. Gosh, I don't even know how to answer that. There's been so many.
Okay, we'll move on to the next. Tell me about three influential people in your life and how they impacted you.
Um, there's been so many influential people in my life. My parents, of course, were a huge influence. My mom has always been an incredible advocate and warrior and super mom for me. He has believed in me for my entire life. And she always set the bar, you know, just she's the one that told me the saying, shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. And that's her belief in her mindset, is to believe that your child is capable of anything and let them follow their passions and grow that way. So my parents, I would say, have been huge influences on me. Um, and someone that I follow is Gabby Bernstein. She's a spiritual coach, and she's also been a big influence on my life, just on positive mindset and, you know, overcoming addictions and things like that. And, you know, I think that's a really big challenge that we don't talk about very much in the neurodivergent community, is that addiction is a common comorbidity for us, especially in our younger years, and for some people throughout their lives. You know, using substances to function um, can be something that a lot of autistic or neurodivergent or people, Asperger's people, do and use.
All right. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Makes me feel inspired. Being outdoors. I love nature. So anytime that I can spend time at the beach or out in nature, hiking or camping or just being at the park, I just find the I just find amazement in nature. I mean, it's so beautiful. And whenever you see natural places, for me, I think it's like, how could someone create such a beautiful thing wherever it is that I'm looking at? And it just fills me with awe and hope, and that inspires me. And I think also I'm inspired by seeing my clients overcome their challenges, and watching them, break through these barriers or mindset blocks or whatever it is that they're working on and get to the next level. I mean, I find that so inspiring. It's part of why I love what I do.
All right. Fill in this sentence. I'm at my best when.
I'm at my best when I am serving my clients, when I'm helping people, figure out their own strength and power, and helping them to feel empowered and in control and find their purpose.
Okay. If you can turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her about where you are now in life?
I would tell her that it's going to get a lot easier. And one day the pain won't be so raw, that you will find a sense of belonging. You will find a community. You will create it. And you will have people who love you and surround you with that love. And it'll all be worth it. All the pain and all the heartache will be worth it.
All right. If you can have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
A billboard with anything on it. I think it would be for my coaching company, which is ND Coach Inc., which stands for Neurodivergent Coach Incorporated. And I think it would have images of people having relationships, just people laughing and smiling with each other, connecting, because that's what it's all about, is, helping people create and cultivate the relationships that are so meaningful in life, because life is all about relationship.
All right. What do you think the world will look like in 5 years from now?
Oh my gosh. This worries me a little bit with climate change, but hopefully let's put a neurodivergent spin on it, and let's say that hopefully within our community, within the neurodivergent, autistic, Asperger's community, we will be more empowered. We'll have a stronger voice, and it won't just be within our community. It'll be across communities, across the United States, worldwide. And there will be more inclusion and more acceptance, not just awareness, but acceptance, and better communication from the neurotypicals, better listening, better understanding.
I really hope in 5 years from now we are somewhere closer to what Australia is with autism. I mean, that would be the
Yeah,
dream, really. All right.
yeah, absolutely.
What is your favorite subject in school?
Um, Psychology. Psychology was always a passion of mine. I still love it. I still read peer-reviewed journal articles occasionally. Um, Specifically behavioral medicine, which is the study of why people do what they do and how to help people change their behaviors. It's something that I've always been really passionate about, and it's something that I use in my coaching. And I just find it really interesting. And I think it's a really important tool, because we all need to know how our minds work, and know how to make healthier choices and take better care of ourselves.
All right. What was your, are you considered an introvert or an extrovert?
Okay, so this is interesting. So I took the Myers-Briggs back in college, and I got I think 49% introverted, and 51% extroverted on that test. I think I'm an IENFP, which is supposed to, I don't know. So I'm like half. I'm an ambivert. I don't know if you've heard of ambiverts.
Yes,
I'm
you're an
half,
ambivert.
yes. So half introverted, half extroverted. I love people. People are my business. That's what, relationships. I love connecting with people, but I also need that time to myself to regenerate and recharge my social battery. And um, yeah, so I'm
All
both.
right. Okay. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be and why?
If I could be remembered for one thing, I would want to be remembered for my ability to help people connect with other people, to learn about how to connect with other people and how to sustain those connections over time. Because everything, I know I sound like a broken record, but everything in life really is about the relationships you have, the connections you have with people. Um, and I think that is a real struggle for a lot of us neurodivergent people, connecting with others and understanding how relationships work, and having access to the same resources that neurotypical people have, because they might be a little bit more skilled at neurotypical relationships.
All right. Tell me about where you are now in life.
Where I am now in life. Now I am I'm a toddler mom and a wife, and I'm a coach. I help people with relationships, specifically neurodivergent people with relationships. It's a passion of mine, and I just really love helping people. And I think that's something I've always done and something I'll always do.
All right. Now we get to the part of the show that's a little different from the rest, but I also want to remind everyone to please like and share this episode and leave a comment. So now, Michelle, what is your favorite word?
This is so funny. Um, what's coming to me is cellar door, but that's because of a movie that I once watched. Um, what's my favorite word? I don't know if I really have a favorite word. I think it changes. Um, right now we'll probably be loquacious.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Um, probably slimy.
Okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Um, I think I'm inspired to create again when I spend time outdoors, and also when I spend time connecting with other people and helping others to really connect with themselves. And for the first time for some people, or for the first time in a long time for other people, really get in touch with their likes and dislikes and start to discover who they are without the mask that they've created.
All right. What turns you off?
Um, Negativity. I don't like it when people are overly negative or pessimistic. Um, and I don't like it when people are mean or careless, or when someone sees someone else struggling and they don't try to help.
All right. What is your favorite cuss word?
My favorite cuss word? I think it's the four-letter one. Yeah. I think fuck is the one that I go to all the time. That
Okay.
would probably be my go-to.
All right. What sound or noise do you love?
Um, Sound that I love. I mean, I can think of 100 that I don't like. Um, I love the way it sounds when a cat purrs.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
The refrigerator.
What is
The
your
sound
favorite?
of the refrigerator plugged into the wall. It makes a sound, I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, people, what she's referring to, people, is those of us who are on the spectrum. Some of us have what's called hypersensitivity. And for Michelle, she's got, like me, a hypersensitive to hearing, where I mean, I can hear certain things that just drive us nuts. That's why you see a lot of us with headphones, because there are those who are super, super sensitive to sound. And that's what she's referring to. The refrigerator makes a humming noise, and it's probably very loud to her.
Mhm. Yeah,
All right.
refrigerator, power lines, traffic. There's a um like a blower, an outdoor blower that's electric. Worst sound ever.
All right. What is your favorite color?
Pink and
What
purple,
it
but pink.
uh, well, mine too. And blue. What is your least favorite color?
That I don't know what it's called, but that really light brown color,
Okay.
like a yellowish brown.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Is this plausible or implausible?
Could be either.
Okay. Um, well, implausible. I always thought that it would be fun to be a princess. Um, Plausible, I think some sort of a political figurehead, president or something like that. Even though I say that's plausible, like highly unlikely. I don't know. But Marianne Williamson was running for some sort of political
All right.
position. So,
What profession would you not like to do?
oh, um, I wouldn't want to be a truck driver.
All right. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome home.
When you arrive at heaven, who would you like to meet?
Well, isn't it Peter? Um, let's see. If I could meet any person, um, I would like to see, I'd like to see my grandparents.
All right. What books do you recommend my audience read?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. I am a total bibliophile, which means a person who loves books. So I read constantly. Um, there's a few on autism. There's one called Unmasking Autism that is great. Um, I think there's one called A Guide to Stimming or 101 Stims. Um, so many books. I love Your Money or Your Life. That's all about finances, which I think is an important topic for everyone, and many of us struggle with. Yeah, those are the ones that are coming to mind.
And finally, where can people find out more about you on the web?
So I am at my website, which is michellemarkman.com. You can find me at michellemarkman.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a couple of groups on Facebook. I have coaching for social anxiety and neurodiversity affirming group. I also have Outdoor Mamas, which is a hiking club for inclusive moms and families. And yeah,
And that's it, everybody. That was Michelle Markham. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you, Michelle.
thank you.
Not a problem. See you in the next one, everybody.